Good morning, everyone. So, with the approval of DRD late last year, that has created capacity problems in a system where we already had capacity issues with delivering SACT. So one of the models that can help with delivery of SACT is our outreach services. And I'm going to give you a very brief overview of my experience of the outreach services at Nottingham and Leicester, which are both based on the Birmingham model. So both in Nottingham and Leicester, trust-employed nurses will administer SACT in patients' home. The model has significant advantages over other externally outsourced providers. The Nottingham model was funded for 2 years from Kay Kendall Leukemia Foundation and the NUH Charities Fund, and Leicester have managed to fund a pilot internally with some increased money from increased activity. The Nottingham service does a lot more than subcut monoclonal antibodies, and they delivered 4,600 visits in their 7th year. The graph on the left shows you that they are, for 22-23, they delivered over 50% of their daratumumab doses in patients' homes. The Leicester model is still in its infancy, but since the end of September, they've already delivered 135 doses in patients' homes. I just want to thank my colleagues at Nottingham and Leicester for providing the data, and I've provided their contacts there if people wanted to speak to them about how the model's been set up. Just finally on outreach, the governance framework which they operate in is incredibly important. And not only do you obviously need the policies, procedures to support it, but think about existing trust policies and how you adapt those to a community setting. Important to risk assess a number of areas, so lone working, single nurse checking, transportation, and obviously documentation is important. So moving now to DOACs, at the UK Pharmacy Education Day in November, Peter Baker presented the UKMS survey for DOACs for the prevention of image-associated thrombosis, and he's kindly let me use his slides today. So on the left, you will see that 60% of respondents, and it was a good response to the survey, over 50, I think it was 52 responders. 60% were using a validated thrombosis risk assessment tool, but there was some variation. On the top right there, that picture's a little busy, but it shows that 96% of responders were likely to use a DOAC, and not unexpectedly, warfarin is unlikely to be used, and the DOAC of choice was apixaban. So there is a growing body of evidence for the use of DOACs for the prevention of image-associated thrombosis. We do need more prospective randomised controlled data, but the survey demonstrates that DOACs are already commonly used. And for us and Peter Baker have drafted a position statement, and that is currently being reviewed, and hopefully we will have that by the end of the year. Thank you.